Let's end this hour by talking about leadership. We often think the best leader might be someone who's charismatic and outgoing, or perhaps someone who individually excels at their job. Like in the sports world, if you have an all-star player or maybe even a few all-star players, shouldn't your team win? Well, I think we've learned, especially Mets fans, that's not always the case. Well, a new book is encouraging us to look elsewhere for great leadership. It's called Team Intelligence: How Brilliant Leaders Unlock Creative Genius. The book, out now, is written by New York Times bestselling author Jon Levy. He's a behavioral scientist, and we are lucky to have Jon with us here this morning. Congrats on the new book. It's great to see you here.
Thank you.
You and I know each other, and that's because we want to give a little background here. Jon does something it's called the influencers. Now, these are not social media influencers. These are just leaders in various industries who you invite to come have dinner, make dinner together. It's not very good, in case you're wondering. And then the thing is, no one can talk about what they do for a living until the end, and then you suddenly realize you're having dinner with, like, the most amazing people possible. That, I feel like, did that sort of what you've learned from these incredible relationships you've formed for this kind of help inform this book and why you wanted to write it?
Absolutely. So basically, I've hosted about 4,000 industry leaders from across industry, Olympians, the person who was the commander of the International Space Station, the person who won a Grammy for barking on Who Let the Dogs Out, right? Like across the board, right? And what was clear was that none of them had the same characteristics. And we keep being told that that's what matters in terms of leadership, that you are great at creating psychological safety or that you can get consensus among people or whatever it is. But none of that seemed to match up. And so I wanted to figure out what actually matters.
And a lot of people assume, like, if you hire the star, whether it's the star executive or the star player, that's the key to success. So debunk some of the myths that are out there for us, some of the misconceptions about good leadership.
So I think one of the funnest way to describe this is in the 1970s, a company called DeKalb produced a chicken called the DeKalb XL, so the Ferrari of chickens.
Okay.
It could outlay any other chicken out there. And what they found was that by purely rewarding productivity, like egg laying, then they were able to produce a lot of eggs, but then they became really violent. They'd peck each other. Because when, at a certain point, the only way you can get more resources is by taking them away from the other chickens. A biologist by the name of William Muir said, you know what, let's produce the KGB, kindler, gentler birds. And so he crossbred a bunch of chickens and then rewarded them for being nice to each other in small groups. And then the ones that produced the most eggs as a group kept rebreeding them. At the end of 1 year, he compared the super chickens, those DeKalb XL violent ones, to the ones that worked well together. And the ones that worked well together far outproduced. And this is like a great analogy for the modern workplace. If we only reward the people who are at the very top, then they're incentivized to make sure that everybody else stays at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. So we need to be more like the KGB chickens.
Yes.
So you talk about intelligence, and this is not your IQ. This is a different type of intelligence.
Yes. It's team intelligence. It asks the question, how do we get a team to solve a problem as quickly as possible with the resources they have? And it turns out that none of the things that we traditionally thought actually predict that.
How making sure people feel right, that's part of this too. Like, some level of empathy or feeling. Talk about what you found there.
Here's what's wild. You know, in traditional teams, we think, okay, I'm going to get the top talent, the top performers. But it turns out there's this too much talent problem. When we get about to 50 to 60% top talent, it causes the team to underperform because people become selfish. What actually makes a difference is not people with the top IQ, average IQ, or even how much people like each other. The single greatest predictor, this was wild, the number of women on the team. And let me just explain, it's not because of chromosomes. It's not like we're about to be sent to the tar pits, right?
Yeah, right.
It's that women index higher on emotional intelligence. And high emotional intelligence allows teams to function better. It lets me know when to push on a topic, when not to, who to go to for answers, and then how to get them to speak up.
You talk about how someone called the glue player in every group is important. Who's the glue player? What's their role in a team dynamic?
So it's really easy to see the stars, right? They put up a lot of points in sports and stuff like that. The glue player is harder to spot. It's the person that makes sure that the team is actually connected and working well together. They have three major characteristics. The first is that they have very high emotional intelligence. So people tend to be able to trust them, right? The second is they put the team above themselves. They are willing to take time out to support fellow team members. They're willing to do the review of things over the weekend just to make sure everybody does well. And then the third is that they take the actions that nobody else even thinks to take. And so they'll work on something and do research for weeks on end in hopes that the project will work out well, but nobody asked them to do it. And these people become really trusted, and everybody turns to them for support, even though they're not the star player.
We only have a few seconds left here, but for someone who's watching this right now or reading your book and might be saying, I'm lacking in these areas, I mean, is this something you can learn, that you can be taught to be better at team leadership?
So the answer is, what you can do is create a culture where the team is rewarded rather than the individual. And also with the upcoming innovations in AI, what we're going to be able to see is that software will be able to tell us, hey, John, you're in a virtual meeting with somebody. It seems that Joe has something to share and you didn't call on him.
Wow.
Maybe you should call on him. And then we get your ideas and the meeting becomes more productive.
I know you are quickly learning AI and everything you can do to make you better at your job. So you're the person to listen to for that. John, congratulations once again. It's your third book. It's called Team Intelligence: How Brilliant Leaders Unlock Collective Genius. And here's the good news. It's available now. That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us, though. The news continues right now.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.